Hey folks, Roland here. Just doing a little video. Actually, it's probably going to be a bit of a long video, so just fair warning. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Well, today's kind of a shitty day. For a lot of reasons. Well, first off, I'm here at my place. I'm by myself, and I've been up since yesterday morning. I haven't had any sleep. And that's probably what I'm going to be talking about today. If I'm a little raspy and my voice is a little... it's because I got this throat thing going on that's driving me mental. It's not like I got a throat full of phlegm. It's pretty gross. Anyways. First off, MCA just died. Really? The guy from the Beastie Boys. Cancer. 47 years old. Fuck. Sorry. I'm a big fan of old school hip hop, and even if I don't particularly like the Beastie Boys as much as some other people, I still gotta say I appreciate what that motherfucker and his group did. So that sucks. My computer is dying. It's in its last death throes right now. I'm in safe mode right now, trying to get my files off of it so that I can salvage stuff and try to put out episodes on the laptop. And yeah. Oh, what's that? Ding, 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 ding. This is part of tonight's entertainment. This is Colt 45 malt liquor. I'm going to be completely honest here. I have never in my life drank malt liquor. I've had beer a bunch of times. I never had malt liquor. Now the reason for this is I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels, obviously, because it's kind of what I do, and again, I'm going to keep doing this probably for a little while. I'm sorry if it comes across as gross. But, Arlo, shut up. Fucking dogs. They're quiet all day. As soon as I turn on the camera, they're like, let's make lots of noise. Fuckers. So I'm going to drink this, or I'm going to try to drink this. I'm not going to chug it. Because I've been watching a lot of videos by a guy called Tiny Tim Rousheder and The Insane Hawaiian and, you know, Badlands Booker. And these guys, there's a chili head community on YouTube. There's also a 40-ounce chugging community on YouTube, which is same thing, just different lifestyles, you know? I'm not trying to get into it, but come on. I gotta try, at least once. If I can, I'm not gonna be able to drink this, yeah. My impersonation of a YouTube 40 chugger. I don't know why they do that. Insane Hawaiian does that. I like watching Insane Hawaiian. I think he's an insane Hawaiian who drinks a lot of beer. Anyways, this isn't the main thing we're going to be doing here today. Shut up! Fucking dogs. Quiet all day, I swear to God. I look like a terrible person. I look like a dog hater now. I look like somebody who abuses my dogs because I say fucking dogs and that they... Anyways, it's been a long day. I've been up since yesterday morning. I didn't get any sleep last night. The main reason for that is I went to go see the Avengers last night, so strap yourselves in, fuckfaces. This is going to be a soon-to-be inebriated review of my view of the Avengers. The stupid accent coming through. Well... let's get this puppy cracked. See what I don't know what to expect. Crack it on the air, that's what they like. Smells like beer. Yeah. Beer kinda all smells and tastes the same to me. So label out, label in, does it matter? I'll put Tiny Tim Rousheder in the tag, so hopefully he notices this and tells me what the fuck I'm doing wrong. I crave the attention of my peers. Go fig. For drunkenness. Yeah, it's beer. Yeah, I mean, yeah, drinking the whole thing's probably going to be tough. It doesn't taste any different. Colt 45. Gets it done every time, to misquote Mr. Billy D. Williams. I hear it does it a lot. Well, okay, so here's a quick thing. Nerd friends. Nerds. Let's go do nerd stuff. Let's go see the Avengers. Midnight showing. Whoa! Forgetting the fact that we all got to be at work the next fucking day at 6. And it's a 2.5 hour movie, and they do the pre-movie stuff, whatever. I meet up with my idiot friends, we go get some drinks, and then we go over to the theater, and, you know, there's like a gaggle of like 10 actual people, but the girth of probably about 16. Although Josh is really skinny, so he counts as a half. So he takes, I'm 2.5, he takes one of those halves, so I just count as 2 people. So, it's tasting. Bleh. Anyways, we get our gaggle of shitheads together. We head over to the Dirt Theater because the Dirt Theater is a block and a half away from my house, and fuck everybody else. I'm sick of being everybody's goddamn taxi. Coming up, the only person in my group of friends with a car. I'm the one that has to drive everyone around. Thank God Ed has a car. I don't know if you'll ever see Ed on any of these videos. He's a good friend of mine, going back like some 10, 15 years. He's cool, but he has a car, so you can understand what I'm talking about. So, we walk to the theater. We get in there early. Some people dressed up. One of our friends dressed up as a female Thor, and she should have won in my personal opinion, because there was supposed to be a costume contest. Instead, the people who ran the theater just said, "Oh, there's somebody in a Loki costume. Fuck you, you win. Here's your shit." Not even a contest. You know, there's no voting. It's just that person has a costume. We'll give them that. I'm not entirely doing this on an empty stomach. I had some, what do you call that? Artificial crab meat shit? What's the actual name for that? Is it just artificial crab meat? Yeah, I had a little pint of that with some cocktail sauce. Cocktail! So yeah, no carbs or anything in my stomach right now, so this shouldn't be anything to absorb this. I don't even know what the alcohol content on this is. I was looking on the bottle, and oof, Jesus, that kind of hits you fast. Oh, Beer Gargoyles review, Terry. I apologize for this being the first beer I do on the channel, because it's not even a beer. It's alcoholized swill. I was there. I did buy some other beers. I'm gonna do some beer reviews, but I'm not gonna do them tonight because I don't want to do them drunk. I wanted to do this to get it out of the way and do a drunken Avengers review. Which, let's get a few more sips in me, and then I'll start talking about the movie itself. Wow. That little bit of alcohol jump from like I look cross-eyed, right? Am I cross-eyed? Wow. I'm already feeling this shit. That's actually pretty impressive. Considering this is like 2.5 beers that I guess sucking down 2.5 beers for a guy with my tolerance would be enough to get you buzzed. But, you know, with the food in my stomach, I'm not sure how it's going to react. I didn't know I was going to get drunk at all, but I can already feel my head starting to swim a little bit. Cheers. I pour some out for my dead homies, but I didn't actually know MCA, and I don't want to clean up beer off my floor. Alright, so, getting to the story here. Getting to the crux. I really just have... I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways. Bugaboo, you're a cat. That's my dog, Bugaboo. He's confused. Anyways. This video is going to be boring as hell. But hey, malt liquor. $40 ounces. That's like 3.5 beers, right? 3 1/3. 3 and... I don't know. That's filling. Just I can feel the gas bubbles. Oh, I should probably put rugby in the descriptor for this in the tag, so he'll see this, because I'm going to do another video on this rugby guy one of these days, because there's a story out there and I'm dying to find out what it is. He's kind of like, he's like the Phantom of YouTube. Everybody knows about him. He's got 2,000 subscribers, but he doesn't put out videos. Yeah, now they're coming. Wow. Seafood. Yum. Anyways. Big fat burns. I was gonna start talking about the Avengers. Yes, Avengers. Avengers! Avenge me! 11 minutes and I ain't said shit so far. Wow. Alright. Let's do this. So yeah. Went into the Avengers. I tried my damnedest. My fucking damnedest. To not have any kind of spoilers. I didn't want anybody to say anything because I know they had pre-screenings. And the internet is full of rumors. This is getting gross. I feel better though. Because I wanted to sit there and I wanted to be impressed. Because I love the first Iron Man movie. I liked the second Iron Man movie. I can appreciate the Captain America movie. The second time I watched it, I actually liked it a lot more. And the Hulk movie that's not the Ang Lee one, that was a good movie too. I liked them all, you know? I mean, yeah, Iron Man kind of blew everyone's socks off. It's like, because think about 5 years ago when Iron Man first came out or whatever, it's like, a movie with a fading 80s star as a second-rate Marvel character, and everyone's like, why would I watch this? And everybody went into with the expectation of, oh, it's going to be another Blade, it's going to be another crap, and Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau just fucking killed it. Hey, knock it off. Humping. At least they're quiet, though. Knock it off. So anyways, after that I was hooked, because I'm a comic book nerd, and I'm never, as much as I like DC Comics, or used to like DC Comics and more than Marvel, they weren't all that for movies. Like Superman Returns I liked, because I'm a huge Superman whore, but at the same time, that movie doesn't offer anything. So here's my impersonation of Superman Returns. I'm back from space! Kryptonite! Fuck! Oh, I got stabbed. It's like, what's your one weakness? That thing you're lifting 40 billion tons of! Yay! Into space. That movie, you know what that movie needs? You know what that movie needed? Superman to have someone to punch. He's fucking Superman. Just that. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, by the way, Avengers is going to kick everyone's ass in the box office. It's going to be huge. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be big. And DC is going to be like, I think we should do a Justice League movie. You know, because that's what DC guys are like. And they're going to do that, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to try to be everything that Avengers was, because god damn it, Avengers was so good. It was so fucking good. I went in there with the expectations of it being okay. Expected to be disappointed because, let's face it, Chris Evans, I can't buy him. In all the still photos I've seen leading up to the movie, he looks like a skinny guy in a blue suit. He looks dumb. Just does not work in pictures. That fucking movie, oh my god. He was awesome. Chris Evans as Captain America was awesome. Chris Evans as Captain America was awesome. Tony Stark, you know, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark was awesome. Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk was fucking awesome. Or as Bruce Banner, because he didn't actually, you know, it's CGI. You, at no point in that movie you're like, hey, where'd Edward Norton go? I kind of missed that guy. It's like, fuck that guy. Even Natasha Romanoff, you know, Scarlett Johansson, who I could give a shit less about. I don't care about her. She's a pretty face and a pair of tits and a white ass. That's all she offers for the movie. And Hawkeye. Fucking Hawkeye. Awesome. Okay. Now that's my opinion of what I thought of it first. Now, I'm going to get into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can turn this piece of shit video off now. A fat drunk asshole. There's a cat on my shoulder. Fat drunk asshole talking about stupid stuff. So, alright, the movie opens up. I had very few complaints about this movie. The first thing about the movie that I don't really understand is the opening of the film. Samuel L. Jackson's in a laboratory, and that guy from Thor, the doctor, Eric, what's his name? He's like, we have the Tesseract. It's unlimited power, and Fury shows up, he's like, what's going on? And everyone's like, oh, the Tesseract just kind of turned on. And they're like, oh, shit. And they're like, we don't know what's going on. Ah, freak out. And then, like, the Tesseract's like, fucking porthole, and from the porthole, Loki appears. Actually, no, fuck that. The movie actually started in space with somebody from the Chitauri talking. Chitauri, for those of you who don't know, is the Skrulls. Old school Marvel aliens. So yeah, back in the Fury Lab, Cosmic Cube opens up a doorway, Loki steps out, ruins everyone's Christmas, kills everybody but like 3 people. Hawkeye gets up in his grill and he's like, oh, you have a strong heart, Hawkeye. Touch you in your heart, and now you are evil, and you follow me. And he does the same thing to the Eric scientist guy, and everybody but Nick Fury, and he's going to kill Nick Fury, and he looks at Hawkeye, he's like, hey, why don't you kill Nick Fury? And Nick Fury gets shot in the chest by Hawkeye, who is supposed to be the most lethal, singly deadliest assassin with any kind of projectile weapon in the world. He shoots him in the chest, knowing that he has a bulletproof vest on. I guess that just shows that Loki's hold on him wasn't as strong as Hawkeye's will to be a good guy. Fuck it. Anyways, so yeah, that's another thing I'm not really clear about is, why did the cube turn on? Where did it pull Loki from? Who turned on the cube? You know, stuff like that. Anyways, Loki gets away with Hawkeye, his new assistant. And Nick Fury's like, oh no, we lost the Cosmic Cube. Shit, what the fuck am I gonna do? And he goes to the Shadowy Council of Powers booth and some other shadowy people. And they're like on this big monitor like, Fury, you have done bad. You have to get that back because we need that cube for cubey stuff and power and white people. Although there was an Asian guy there. And Fury's like, I'll do what I gotta do. And he runs off and he's like, hey, Agent Coulson. And Agent Coulson's like, yeah, what's up? And he doesn't actually say it like that, but he's like, you might as well, because I'm the most awesome character in this whole series. And it's like, we need to put together people. And he goes, okay, what are we going to do first? Let's get the Black Widow. Black Widow, oh, you go, and everything. Long story short, they go and they get everybody that's going to be in the movie. Coulson gets Iron Man, fucking, I almost said Sacha Baron Cohen. Natalie Romanoff goes off and gets Bruce Banner. And Nick Fury gets Captain America. And they pull them together, and nobody goes to get Thor. Remember, because Thor's still in Asgard, you know, doing whatever. So, no Thor. So they pull them together, and it's like, we have to work together to go do stuff. And then Loki's like, we need a piece of equipment to power up the Tesseract so we can use it for stuff. And, okay, we need to go to Germany and get that thing. And Hawkeye's like, okay. So he goes to Germany, pulls out some guy's eye. Hawkeye uses it to go into a thing and get us something. They don't really say what that something is. And then, like, Loki's like, oh, while I'm here, why don't I scare the shit out of a bunch of people and tell them that I'm in charge now? So he does, and he's like, you were meant to be led, you fucking peons. I'm a god and stuff. You know, ooh, I'm a badass. And, like, Captain America runs up and he's like, shield, and I'm going to get into a fist fight with a god. Which I'm sure was trying to be reminiscent of that famous scene when he's fighting Thanos in like the Thanos quest, when he's like, Thanos who's a god, he's kind of like, hey, I am a god, you are a man, what are you going to do? I'm going to get up your face and I'm punching the grill. And God's like, a valiant effort, eat shit. Smacks him and he's dead. That may be a misrepresentation of what actually happened in the comic book, but fuck the comic, let's talk about the movie. So he gets up in his face and he's like, I'm punching Loki, and Loki's like, I'm still a god, and you're a jerk, and he just smacks him a lot, and Iron Man flies in and he's like, technology! And he technologies Loki or punches him or something, so that Loki's like, I give, yay! Oh, by the way, I have this awesome staff. Make sure you take this staff with me. Don't forget the staff. So they take the staff, and they're flying on one of the little jets back to home. And they're flying, and lightning starts, because they're in the sky, and like Loki gets looking at his face like, oh no, and like Cap and Iron Man are kind of like, oh, you don't like the lightning? And he's like, it's not the lightning I fear, it's what it follows. Or what follows it. Or something, oh shit, and Thor! Like that scene in the commercial where he like pops out of the sky and he's like, oh! Grabs onto the plane and he's like, it looks really cool actually. When Thor shows up, it's fucking awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna, none of this is being said in an offhanded remarkish way, but goddamn, this movie is fucking awesome. So Thor comes into the back of the plane. So Thor comes in the back of the plane and he's like, smack Tony Stark, smack Captain America, Loki! Grabs him by the throat and goes, we're going for a ride, bitch, and jumps out the plane. And, they land on the ground and he's like, you are my brother! We are brothers! And Loki's like, I'm not your brother! I'm adopted! And he's like, I still want to be your friend because I'm naive! And Loki's like, let's do that! And then Iron Man's like, fuck you! And like, grabs Thor, throws him in the woods. They start pissing and moaning and fighting and kicking and kissing and loving and all that gay stuff that I wish that they would do, but they didn't do. And, anyways, long fight. Pretty awesome, though, because it's like, I'm a god. You are technology. This is magic versus technology, and if I would punch technology, well, I'll punch magic. And Cap shows up and he's like, dude, chill the fuck out. And they do, because he's Cap. And they're like, let's go back to the helicarrier. And they take Loki back to the helicarrier. That's one helicarrier, yo. And because they show the helicarrier, it starts off as a aircraft carrier, and then it flies. And turns invisible. Awesome. So they're up there, and like Nick Fury puts Loki in a cage, and he's like, you try to crack that glass, and I'm going to pull this lever, and you're going to fall 30,000 feet, and we're going to see if a god can live through something like that. Because even though you're God, you can't fly. Thor can kind of fly, but only because he throws his hammer and follows it behind by holding on to the strap. Yeah, so that's important. And by now they've got Bruce Banner, who's played by Mark Ruffalo, who does a fucking amazing job. He does a really, really good job of playing, the dickish Banner. And he's a dick. Every scene he's in, every line he's a dick. And there's a reason for that. It comes up really, really well later. So then it's like, Nick Fury's like, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, go find me that Tesseract. It's got gamma rays and shit. Go, gamma rays, and fucking follow it and find them. So while they're in there working on that shit, Loki's staff that they also took is in the same room with them. So then it comes down to, I forget, it's like, Tony Stark's like, I don't trust Nick Fury, and Captain America's like, I'm a soldier, and Bruce Banner's like, you should listen to Tony Stark, and Captain America's like, I'm gonna go look for stuff. And he does. And they all come back together again a little while later after doing some exploring, and Nick Fury's like, Tony Stark, what's going on? And Captain America's like, will you tell me what's going on? You motherfuckers have been recreating Tesseract technology, like from the Captain America movie. He doesn't say those exact words, but he might as well. And like, Nick Fury's like, okay, we were making stuff, weapons from the Tesseract. And like, everyone's like, why, Nick Fury? Why are you making all these deadly weapons of mass destruction? And he points at Thor and he goes, that guy. And Thor's like, huh? He goes, we were humans. We were fucking humans. You stab us in the heart, we die. You break our heads with a rock, we die. We fight each other, we got that shit down. And now a fucking god came out of the sky and destroyed a city. It's a whole new ball game. He points to Captain America. That guy's got super soldier serum, but he's still a guy. Points to Tony Stark. That guy's still a fucking guy in a suit. Points at Natasha Romanoff. Like, she's got tits, but she's still just a person. Points at Thor. That's a god. We need bigger guns. And they do. And that becomes like a thing. And then Mark Ruffalo's like, you know what, I'm a dick and I don't want to be here. I'm going to leave. You're going to put me in a cell? Yada, yada, yada. And what they're not picking up on is that Loki's staff is agitating everyone. So everyone starts puffing up their chest and getting all bravado-like, and like Captain America's like pointing to Tony Stark like, you're just a douche in a suit, and Captain America's to everybody else, you shut up, and like Iron Man's like, hey Cap, you're a douche with a jar of goo in you that makes you super. And like Thor's like, you're all a bunch of petty humans. And like Nick Fury's like, I'm Samuel L. Jackson. And they just get into this huge shouting match. And I forget what the impetus. Oh yeah, Hawkeye knows where the helicarrier is. Knows all about the helicarrier. Knows that if he has one. Pause for break, and we're back. He knows that the helicarrier, which is an aircraft carrier that flies, so it's a bigger than normal aircraft carrier. It's huge. It's fucking monstrous. He knows that with one single aircraft carrier destroying arrow, he can destroy the whole aircraft carrier. Well, he shoots out one of the 4 engines. Because he's just one arrow. Ting! And the aircraft carrier is crashing. Just like that. And he's like, there's this raid on the helicarrier, and Hawkeye's like, ba-ding, 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 kill everybody, ding, 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 ding. And he like this wicked cool scene where he has a computer chip on the end of an arrow, and he shoots it into a USB port, and it's like fucking... It's not exactly a USB port, but it's the same thing. It's fucking awesome. Swill. That actually wasn't that bad. I'm ashamed to admit. I can actually see myself enjoying this. I can't suck it all down in one thing though, despite looks to the contrary. I'm gay. So totally gay. Fucking shit's breaking up, and like Bruce Banner's like, I'm angry, and turns into the Hulk, and all this shit's going on, and like Captain America and Iron Man are like, we gotta save the helicarrier, we gotta go out there and help that stuff, and Iron Man and Hulk's like, I have to destroy everyone because fuck you guys, and Thor's like, oh, you're really strong. Hey, I'm really strong. Let's beat the piss out of each other. Wha-bam-o! Wha-bam-o! All kinds of just fucked up shit. Fighting, you know, and then like they're fighting Hawkeye, and then like Loki tricks Thor, so Thor's locked into the super cage, which is going to drop down 30,000 feet, and Loki's on the outside. And here we come to the first biggest spoiler of the movie. Agent Coulson gets killed by Loki. Agent Coulson, I know, that cool fucking guy who's, you know, just like a cool guy in all the movies, you know. Like Loki stabs him from behind because he's got a gun that's based on the design of the Destroyer from Thor, the suit of armor that's meant to kill gods. He's got a gun that does that, and it's so cool because it's like fucking Loki stabs him from behind. He's like ugh, because he was gonna shoot him with the and he's like standing there bleeding out, and Loki's like standing over him like, you are a human and I am a god, and Coulson's like and he's got the gun, but he's not holding it. It's just kind of in a position, like on his lap, aimed up at Loki, and Loki's like mid monologue, and Coulson just like trigger, bam, fucking blows Loki through a fucking wall out of the helicarrier. Oh man, yeah, Loki has a lot of moments in this movie where he has like the ultimate coolness that just gets smacked the fuck down. That's one of 3 that I can remember. So, big fight on the helicarrier. Coulson dies. They save the helicarrier. Thor falls out of the chute and gets out. And green guy falls out of the sky as the Hulk and lands, and he's fine. And Captain America, and they're all sad about the death of Coulson. And then it's like, oh no, Loki, because Scarlett Johansson. It's kind of funny that her first name is Scarlett Johansson, and she's playing the Black Widow, because Scarlet is the first name of a lot of major comic book characters. Like on the Avengers, Scarlet Witch. So it's kind of weird. So anyways, so Black Widow interrogated Loki and found out some information, and they were able to extrapolate the fact that he wants to use Stark Tower to put his Tesseract to open up a doorway over New York and have all of the Chitauri aliens guys come through and just ruin everyone's fucking day. So, fucktard goes up there and does that, and then they're like, oh, we gotta go there and fight. So Captain America and Iron Man go there, and Black Widow and they got Hawkeye back at this point. They were able to beat the stupid out of him, so now he's back to being a good guy. And Loki's like up on his fucking tower, and he's like, I'll open the door, and the door opens, and the Chitauris just fall out, and they're these alien Knights of the Round Table skeleton, muscular, athletic, mechanical skeleton things. They're nothing like the Chitauri in the comic books. They're not shapeshifters. They're just... What they serve the purpose of is... They're an army of things that the Avengers can kill en masse without feeling bad about killing human soldiers. And they're called the Chitauri for nerd credit, because that's an established species in the Marvel Universe comics. That's the only purpose they serve. They have nothing in common with the actual Chitauri. They're just a bunch of guys that can be crushed, shot, arrowed, shielded, smashed, thrown, set on fire, pissed on, forced to watch animal porn, and just, thrown down a flight of stairs, just en masse. So, lots of fighting goes on. Lots of fighting goes on. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a lull in the fighting. And it's like, oh, we got this. Everything's going to be okay. And then there's like, whoa, this fucking, you've seen it in the commercials, giant space flying mechanical snake living thing kind of, hey guys, I'm bringing the party to you. Big fucking maw in the front and just crazy teeth. Gonna bite your shit, and like little Chitauri guys are just jumping off all of it, and they're the ground troops, and Captain America's doing all this shit, and there's a lull, and that thing's about to get them, and fucking Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner shows up on a little scoot, and Captain America's like, oh, look who decided to join the party, and Mark Ruffalo's like, or Bruce Banner's like, he turns around and here's this fucking like city-sized thing like flying at him, and Mark Ruffalo's like, I'm here to help you guys fight, and Captain America's like, I guess you better get angry, and like Mark Ruffalo has the coolest fucking line, followed by the coolest scene in the movie, and he's just like, looks at the camera, he's like, no, he looks at him, he's like, that's my secret, I'm always angry, and like the panel changes, it's like, I'm always angry. And as he's turning, it's just like hulking out like a controlled Hulk out. And that scene just transitioned into that huge thing coming at him. And he's just like, fuck you! Just punches a fucking city-sized monster fucking sea snake in the face and kills it in one shot. Because he's the fucking Hulk. And then it's like, Captain America's like, we're all assembled now. Thor, go do stuff with lightning over that porthole. Tony Stark, go fuck with that Tesseract. Hawkeye, you got eyes that are like a hawk. Go up higher and look at shit and tell us what's going on and shoot some people with your arrows. And like, he's like, Scarlett Johansson, you're on the floor with me because we can't fly and we don't have any missile weapons, so we're just gonna punch people and shoot them and shit. And then he looks at Hulk and he's like, Hulk, smash. And Hulk's like, oh yeah, and he's like, jumps to a wall and just smashes. Fucking awesome stuff. So anyways, another 40 minutes of people beating the piss out of Chitauri. Thor goes up there, he shoots his lightning at the portal, he roasts a bunch of them. Amazing montage of action. He goes over to Loki, he's like, I am your brother, I'm going to try to get compassion from the side that we're family, and I'm going to hit you with a hammer at the same time. And Loki's like, fuck you, stabs him in the ribs, and he's like, I don't want to be your brother, fuck you, dude. Woo! Dives off. Oh, there was a scene before all the fighting started where Tony Stark had a casual conversation with Loki over a drink, but it's a scene from the commercials like, we have a super soldier, a god, and you managed to piss off all of it. I have an army. We have Mark Ruffalo. And, it's fucking stupid. That was kind of cool, but that was all happening. And then the fighting, it's like more fighting, and then it's like more of those giant snakes start coming out, and it's like Hulk and fucking Thor are working together to kill one. They're on it, like punching it and killing the guys that are trying to get him. At one point, like Hulk grabs like a bust-sized jagged piece of metal and sticks it in the thing's head, and Thor's like, smack, hits it with the hammer, drives it through the thing's skull, the thing crashes into Grand Central Station, dies. Hulk and Thor like roll over and they're looking at the thing dead, and they're standing next to each other, and it's like, Thor's like catching his breath, and Hulk's like, and just punches Thor off screen. Again, the top 3 coolest parts of the whole fucking movie were all the Hulk. then that's the second one. The first one is punching the giant snake to death with one punch. The second one is the sucker punch on Thor, just off screen, and then he's like this big crazy ape. And meanwhile, Scarlett Johansson's up topside, and she's like got Loki's spear, and she's like, I'm going to kill the Tesseract, and I'm going to do stuff because I'm important, and I have a gun and I shoot stuff, and I have tits. You want to see my bum? Like my dye job? That's pretty much all she's for. And so anyways, huge montage of fighting, lots of fighting, action out my motherfucking ass, just action, 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 fighting, punching, shooting, blasting, combo attacks, just fucking awesome shit going on all at fucking once, and it's just crazy, you can't keep up with it, and then it's like, it gets to the point where Loki's like, he's back up in Stark Tower, and he's like, oh my god, these fucking guys are trying to stop my stupid plan to have these Chitauri take over the planet, and then they'll sort of follow me, and then he like looks over and like, the Hulk's in the room with him, he's like, oh yeah, you're a big tough guy. You're a big tough guy, and I'm a god. You're a guy. I'm a god. And like the scene just immediately cuts to the Hulk grabbing Loki by the feet and just drooping him. And he's like stomping on him, punching him and shit, which is the coolest scene in the movie, because that's actually the third time, because it was one before where like Hawkeye finally gets his 1 in a million shot where he's like, I'm going to put this arrow through Loki's eye, and just lets it go, and like Loki's like doing blink, catches the arrow, super cool, and he's about to have a super cool moment, but then the arrowhead opens up and has an explosion and Loki's shot for a fucking loop. Loki cannot catch a fucking break in that movie. I feel bad for that guy, because first he's all cool with Agent Coulson. It's like, I am a man, and I just killed you, and I am mid-word, and Coulson's like, destroyer gun, and shoots him. And then there's the Hawkeye arrow, it blows up in his face. And the third time is when he's talking down the Hulk like, you are a mere brute, but I am a god! Boom, 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 boom. Fucking... The crowd lost their shit when that happened. I'm in a midnight showing with nerds, hardcore, getting up in 2 hours to go to work, staying up at midnight till 2:30 in the fucking morning to watch a nerd movie in costume for nerdery, nerd power, nerds! In a positive way. Take that, Donald Gibb. So when he was punked out for the third time by the Hulk, and this is what puts Loki down. Like, he's just like, Hulk's like, boom, 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 boom. He's like, boom, 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 stomping on all this stuff. And he just walks off and like, he's a puny god. And like, you wouldn't hear that line because everybody in the fucking theater is losing their mind, screaming at the top of their fucking lungs. And fucking like Loki's in a crater, like, his face is all broken. So then it's like, shadowy council, Nick Fury, you're a dick, and we're gonna take over. We're gonna send a nuke into New York City. Fuck you. And Nick Fury's like, no, not a nuke. And he runs over to the helicarrier, and the two planes are taking off with the nukes, and he's like, oh, missile launcher! 40 points if you get that reference. Missile launcher takes out one of the planes, but the other one gets away. And he's like, I got a pistol. I'm a bad shot. So he's like, Tony, Iron Man, dude, seriously, there's a fucking nuke hitting your way. And Nuke's like, Iron Man's like, oh no. So he goes over, he grabs the nuke, and he's like, just in time for Scarlett Johansson to be like, I'm fucking with the Tesseract, and I can close the porthole. And Tony's like, no, I gotta get rid of this nuke. So he flies up into the portal, throws the nuke at the mothership, blows up the mothership. All the drones, I guess they were just kind of like, oh, the mothership's down, oh, for fuck's sake, and then they fall over dead. And kind of wish I had some more of this now. Tony's like, oh, I'm really hurt, and he falls, and like the Hulk catches him, and he like hits the ground, and he's like dead, and everyone's like standing over him like, oh, the fighting stopped, but Tony didn't make it. Thor's sad, Captain America's sad, and Hawkeye's scratching his balls, and Scarlett Johansson's sad, and the Hulk's like, wake up! And Tony's like, fuck! And he does. Because Hulk scared him back to life. And Tony's like, I really want some shawarma. You guys want to go get some shawarma? My suit's dead. Shawarma is like Arab food, like Arab chow. Remember that because that comes up later in the movie. So, and then they're like, "Oh, we saved the world," and then there's like a montage of like news agencies saying shit like, "The fucking Avengers saved the world, yay!" And then they're all like, "We should," you know, like later on they showed them like a week later they're all wearing like casual clothing and Loki's in like Asgardian irons with a thing over his mouth, and they're like, Thor's like, "I will take Loki back to Asgard to face Asgardian justice, and I'm going to take the Tesseract with me, and bye." And like Mark Ruffalo and Tony Stark high five and head off, and you know the movie ends on a note of like, "Yay!" And like there's of course the scene where they're talking to Nick Fury, and he's like, "But Nick Fury, what if we need them back?" And Nick Fury's like, "Oh, they'll be back, 'cause we'll need them to be back. Oh yeah. Avengers credits," and I was like, "Wow, yeah, that movie was fucking awesome." Now going into this, obviously we know the fact that there are 2 beyond the movie stingers. Stingers are what you call, I didn't know there's an actual word for this. Stinger is what you call a clip after the credits or during the credits. We all knew that there was one during the credits, and we all knew there was one after the credits. Here's a little insight into what happened when the mid-credits stinger happened. People lost their fucking minds. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. Because they showed the leader of the Chitauri, the one from the very beginning of the movie, the head priest, talking to somebody in the darkness. They're not showing him. And it's like, "Master, the humans, they fucked us up. We're pretty bad, yo. And he's like, "Next time we have them fight us, we will make them fear death." And then anybody who's a good comic book nerd's like, "Wait a minute. Alien? Cosmic? Death?" And then the camera like pans in over the shoulder of the guy they're talking to, and then his head turns and you see a gold helmet, purple skin, and a wrinkly lined long extended jaw, and he grimaces at the camera, and everybody lost their fucking minds because it's fucking Thanos. I'm not even really a big Thanos fan, but I gotta admit, that was the coolest shit ever. Because, obviously, if you're going to go into this movie as an Avengers fan, there's 2 different types you have to classify yourself as. The fan of the movies and the fan of the comic book. Now, if you're a fan of the movies, you don't know who Thanos is, you don't give a shit who Thanos is, your mind goes as far as to say, "Oh, he must be the villain from the next movie." You know, that's about as far as you go. But if you're like a fan of the comics, you're like, "Holy fucking God, that's Thanos, the mad god." Like, they're Asgardian gods who are gods in the Lee sense, like the Lewis Black sense, you know, gods. And then there's Thanos, who is a cosmic badass who they set the scale for cosmic badass by. This guy at one point in comics killed half of everyone. Now, I don't mean like he made people have strokes and half their bodies go numb. I mean like, take the entire population of everyone. And I don't just mean humans. I mean every living thing. Trees, dogs, fucktards, aliens, goldfish, grass, moles, more aliens, everything that's ever been alive. He's just like, "You know what? I'm gonna make my stand." Made half of them die. Because he had this item of power that this entire storyline was written around. And here's the thing that if you think about it and you extrapolate from it, that'll make you even more excited. Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Thor are all part of Marvel Studios. They're Marvel properties, and they're part of Marvel Studios. Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Blade, and Ghost Rider are Marvel properties, but not Marvel Studios. So you're not going to see Nick Cage show up as, "Oh, hey guys, can I join the Avengers? Whoa." Like, whoa! You know, like, or like Wolverine show up as a cameo, like, "Hey, I'm a part of the Avengers in the comic books, why aren't I a part of Avengers here?" Because they're a property, but they're done by a different studio. Now, Thanos' stories, every single fucking time in the comics, and they've only used them a handful of times for the big stuff, because he's that big. Every time he makes an appearance in the comics, it's a everyone's in to stop this guy thing, like the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men, Nightcrawler, fucking Avengers, Defenders, Archangel, Iceman, Silver Surfer, every fuck-tarding jackass in the Marvel Universe has to literally dogpile on this one guy to try to win. And the fact that they introduced him as the main villain behind the Chitauri, the main villain behind giving Loki the power, the main villain behind the whole fucking Avengers movie, that means that if they're gonna actually have Thanos as a legitimate badass in the next movie, you need the Fantastic Four, you need Wolverine, you fucking need the X-Men. And even though those are all under different studios, ownerships, I think they're going to try to bring them in. Because the storyline is called the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet is actually the item that made him go and killed half the people in the world. And trees and dogs and snails and aliens and walruses and all that stuff like that. So, if they get the balls to have a villain of that magnitude as the next villain, motherfuckers be ready, because it's gonna be bigger than the Avengers. And the Avengers was the greatest fucking movie I ever seen. Oh my god. I spent the entire movie like this. It was that fucking good. I mean, it appealed to me on a personal nerdy basis. But aside from that shit, it's an awesome fucking movie. And by the way, go into that movie expecting to be surprised. Actually, fuck that noise, because if you watch this entire shit up until this point, then you obviously know that the spoilers are like, I've already given away the surprise. But still, be surprised at how fucking awesome the Hulk is. Fuck Ang Lee. Fuck Joe Johnston, or whoever the fuck did the second movie. Oh my god, the Hulk is so good. He's so fucking good. Every scene he's in is so good. And this is a movie that every time you see one of the promos or one of the intros, who do they show? Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., Repulsor Rays, Iron Dude, witty guy, snarky snark snark. Because he's got the best lines in the movie. And yeah, in this movie, he's got a lot of the best lines, because he's Robert Downey Jr., he's Tony Stark, he's witty, he's pithy, he's fast, he's quick, he can keep up, these are fingers and my thumb, and it's just, he just keeps going. And the motherfucker is overshadowed by the Hulk punching shit. It's that fucking good. Oh my god. So yeah. And then the credits go on, and then there's another stinger after the credits, and it's not anything big, it's just funny. It's like, it cuts to the end, and it's like, it's after the fight stopped, but before they got out of their gear. They're all in an Arab restaurant eating shawarma. Lamb on pita. And they're all like battered, bruised, and broken, and you can just see that they're all just fried mentally and physically, and they're just like stuffing food in their mouths, like, just to recarb, because they've expended all of their energies. And it's so cool because every character is doing something that is appropriate for their character. From what I heard, I didn't actually see them all, but like Cap's just sitting there, he's just got a cup of black coffee, he's just like, you know, Tony Stark's like, you know, he's like picking at stuff, he's like, throwing it in his mouth, and you just see like a profile of like Hawkeye. He's just like, I ain't taking these big bites, but like just being casual. And Thor's like, you get this huge fucking sandwich. He's just biting into it and shit's falling off. He's eating like an Asgardian, which is fucking awesome. And he's like, this is good. You know, not a single word or sound is uttered in that movie, but you can just read it on their faces. This like 15 seconds of just them being like, we just fucking saved the world. I am so hungry. Just eating. It's so fucking good. Oh man. Well, anyways, that's my. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even really drunk. This shit. My BMI is just too high. I'm comfortably buzzed, let me put it that way. Enough that I can get lucid enough to tell this story with an exaggerated manner. 50 minutes in. Well, thank you for watching my my somewhat inebriated review of the Avengers. Spoilers included. Because seriously, if you're gonna watch this and not, before seeing the Avengers, wait a minute, who the fuck am I appealing to then? Really, who's gonna? What's the appeal? I'm telling the story of the Avengers. So if you haven't seen the Avengers, I've already told you not to watch it because it's a fucking giving away the plot points. And if you have to see Avengers, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. What's my audience? You hear that? Oh, like fucking dog. He's got gas. Fuck you, Bubba. That was like perfect timing. He's like, he's a little. It's a stupid dog. All right, guys. Love you, you little bastard. He's kicking the stand now. All right. Peace, love, soul, and rest in peace, our MCA. See you soon enough. Ugh.